of relationship infidelity is one of the most popular, sadly, and long-standing areas of research in relationship science because it's one of the most common problems that we have in relationships, right? If you look at what ends relationships, near the top of that list is always infidelity. There's a lot of reasons why people cheat, right? Because relationships are complicated, so the reasons behind why people do things in relationship are also complicated. The most common reason why people cheat is falling out of love, right? So you're in a relationship and things are going well, you think you're in love, and then you start to feel yourself pulling apart, growing apart, and just not feeling that love as much. And so you start looking elsewhere to have those needs fulfilled. The second most common reason was simply for variety. Relationships can get into a rut, they can become stagnant and stale in lots of ways. And so finding another partner is another way, not the best way, but it is a way to interject some novelty into your relationship. Related to that too is, simply feeling neglected. You got to remember, we get into relationships to fulfill a lot of our needs, needs for connection, needs for emotional support. And so if our partner isn't able to support us and help us meet those needs, frankly, we're going to find someone else who can. And then the fourth one is situational factors. Caught up in the moment, maybe a little bit too much to drink. A lot of times the main situational factor is the belief that we're not going to get caught. And sometimes it's just simply having the opportunity presented to us. We hadn't really thought about whether we would or we wouldn't, and you get caught up in that moment, and then you end up cheating. So another common question that people have is, are there differences between why men and women would cheat in a relationship? And there are. Men are more likely to cheat because they want more variety in their relationship. Men are more likely to cheat for situational reasons and simply because of sexual desire. Women, on the other hand, are more motivated to cheat when they feel neglected in their relationship. Women are more likely to cheat early in a relationship, and then over time, it's like a slow, steady decline that as the relationship progresses, women become less and less likely to cheat. Men don't follow that same pattern. Men are more likely to cheat early, but then as the relationship progresses, they kind of follow the same pattern as women, where they become less and less likely to cheat over time, but only up to a point, right? Once men get longer into the relationship, they become more likely to cheat again. And so men's cheating is less tied to satisfaction, whereas women's is more tied to satisfaction. So that's why you're seeing the women who are neglected being more likely to cheat, and men, it's not as much of a factor. Classic question of once a cheater, always a cheater? And the answer is yes. So, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. So, people who have already cheated once are much more likely to cheat again. Now, of course, that doesn't guarantee, there's no guarantees. It's just they're a lot more likely. And a big part of that is whatever led them to be comfortable cheating and engaging in that indiscretion in the first place, chances are some of those factors are still there. And so if those haven't been addressed, then the chances of cheating are still high. The important thing to remember with cheating is that you yourself don't get to define what cheating is. The person that gets to define cheating in your relationship is your partner. So a lot of times with emotional infidelity, it's really dependent on what your partner's okay with. Men, for example, will be perfectly okay with their female partner having really deep emotional connections to their female best friends. But if your wife is having an emotional connection with someone who they might potentially be in a romantic relationship with, now it becomes more problematic. But again, it's still through the eyes of that person's romantic partner. The best advice I have for couples who want to deal with infidelity is to fix it before it's a problem. And it's to not neglect your relationship. It's to put in the work. Early in the relationship, we put a lot of effort into dating. We put a lot of effort into courtship and building that relationship. We have to put as much effort into maintaining that relationship. And so a lot of that is very simply continue dating. There are certain kinds of activities that are particularly useful. And those are activities that we call nice activities. So they're novel, interesting, challenging, and exciting. It's not just any date, but it's like, go do something new. Don't go to the same old restaurant and order the same old thing. Go try something different. And there's just an inherent excitement in trying new things. And so those types of activities we know help what we call expand the sense of self. Essentially, you feel your self-concept growing. You feel like you're growing as a person, expanding who you are. And people who feel more self-expansion in their relationships are less likely to cheat.